We were so excited to have the wonderful Kat and Kate from Seagull's Paints as our guests on episode 11 of Light on Leeds. Seagull's Paint is an environmental social enterprise who practice and promote the use of leftover and unwanted paint, creating opportunities for local people. We had a cup of tea and heard all about how they began and where they're headed next. There are links in the podcast notes to their social media as usual. Have a listen, do. So welcome to episode 11 of Light on Leeds. This week we're so happy to have Seagull's Paints, Kate and Kat. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you so much for coming along.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, my pleasure. Can you tell me a little bit about how you got started with Seagull's Paints?
Yeah, so Kat and I met when we were volunteering for another project that was doing up vineyards in Hyde Park and Burley, sort of turn them into gardens and play areas.
Excellent.
We noticed a lot of waste. We wanted to do something about that and encourage other people to reuse their waste, but we also realised that, you know, the area was quite deprived at the time.
So having worked in the vineyards, there were no green bins at the time in Leeds. So this is
None at all.
Well, I don't know.
The scheme was just starting at that time, I think.
Talking about 17 years ago, something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, quite a long time. There's no green bins. People had better things to think about. You know, feeding kids, getting kids to school, paying bills. There was just we noticed a lack of recycling and reuse awareness in the area and in Leeds in general, and we wanted to do something about it.
And there was the area was being regenerated at the time, so all the vineyards were being sort of done out, and they were putting, you know, little spaces in for people to put the green bins. And you know, we think the only way you can encourage people to do something is if they see a positive benefit to it. So that's kind of where it started. And then we retreated to our kitchen, my kitchen.
Yeah, drank lots of wine.
Got very pissed a lot. Tried to raise money, tried to work out what it was we were going to do. And it's funny actually because we did have a piece of paper where we wrote down all our ideas. And I say that was what, 20 odd years ago, 18 years ago. Yeah. And we look back now, we're just about to tick the last of those ideas off the list, aren't we? Which is quite a big deal for us.
It really is.
So somebody told us about paint, didn't they?
Yeah.
We knew we fell into it, really. Yeah,
we knew we wanted to make money. We wanted to be a sort of a charitable, voluntary, social enterprise type of organisation, and we knew we'd need funding to a certain extent, but we also wanted to generate our own income so we were less reliant upon sort of grants and stuff. So we tried to think of a material that we could reuse, recycle, repurpose. Somebody suggested paint. And we thought, why not? We'll give it a go.
That's great. And so did you have to do lots of research into it and work? I mean, if you didn't know anything about...
No, not really. We just started badgering the council. Almost ignorance was bliss, really. I think if we'd have known what it entailed, we might have been too terrified to start it. But we started badgering the council. We found a guy in the council who was very supportive of what we were doing, and he arranged a meeting for us. So we walked into this meeting, and to remember back in the time, we used to draw straws because we were too scared to answer the phone.
Oh, really?
So we used to like, it's your turn to answer the phone, I'm not doing it. You know, we were really nervous. We walked into this room with about 15 people in suits, and we were like, oh, shit. We managed to offend them a little bit because we're quite tactless at times. But they agreed to give us a go. So we started collecting paint from Pudsey waste site in Cat's car. It was very much, we got into a mindset, unfortunately, of we can't do this because we haven't got this or we haven't got this, and we didn't have a van. And something changed, something clicked one day, didn't it? Probably over a glass of wine. And it said, we just thought, well, let's work with what we do have. Cat had a car, so we used to put the back seats down, tarp the car out. We'd go and collect our paint from Pudsey and then take it to this little cellar in Kirkstall.
And that's where you started Seagull's Paint in Kirkstall.
Yeah. And then we initially thought in our naivety we could give it all away and it'd all be fine. But that soon changed. And just from there was grant funding around that time for the environment.
Yeah, there was quite a lot of lottery
there
funding.
Isn't much now, weirdly enough. But,
just when you think you need it the most, and it's more in people's consciousness.
Yeah. So we got a good hefty grant, and we found our building on Kirkstall Road and started from there.
Yeah, that was back in 2006.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know, scary. Yeah.
So, and when you started, it was just you two?
Just the two of us. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you've obviously expanded, because I like seeing your post on Instagram where it'll be somebody who's working at your place and you get to hear a little bit about the story and what they enjoy doing.
Yeah, we've got, there's about 14 of us now.
Yeah, 14 employees, 6 regular sort of long-term volunteers, and up to another sort of 6 or 7 volunteers who come and go per week.
Yeah.
In various placements, yeah.
That must be a lot to manage as well.
Yeah.
It is really.
I think we've got a really good team, and I suppose, you know, we've got a volunteer programme called We Grow People, and as Kat and I had both volunteered, I suppose we should go back to say that I moved to Leeds, I was a single mum, I came here to go to uni, for various financial reasons that suddenly didn't become possible. I was like, oh dear, I've just moved my small child miles away from everybody, and what am I going to do? So I started volunteering somewhere else, which is where I met Kat. Kat had just finished uni, and you didn't really know what you wanted to do either.
No, I wanted to do something within the community, but didn't really know where to go about it.
So you both started as volunteers, and now you have a lot of volunteers yourself, which is fantastic.
We couldn't pay ourselves for 4 years, so
wow.
I just stayed on benefits and kept under the radar, and you did various bits and bobs to keep yourself going, didn't you?
Worked in Wetherspoons. The joy.
And it was probably about 4 years before we could pay ourselves.
So that's a long time to to do what you were doing.
Yeah.
And you must have it must have been nice, I suppose, to have the support of both of you doing it together.
Oh,
definitely.
Keeping yourselves going.
Yeah. I think that's the thing. Neither of us would have done it on our own, and I think that's the important point in that you know, we've both brought different strengths, ideas to the table. You know, we're quite different personalities. We have very similar outlook, and we have very similar sort of passions and ethos around sort of social justice and the environment, and, you know, similar passions, but who we are as personalities are very, very different, and
it works.
That's why it works.
Yeah, because
really.
you can both bring different skills, I imagine.
Yeah, not quite sure what those skills are,
but
somehow works. Yeah. Our biggest skill is knowing that we haven't got that many skills, and to ask other people.
Or when to pop the cork on the bottle. We're quite tuned in on that one.
Yes.
Yeah. So We Grow People, is that something that you started yourself, or is that a scheme that you've got involved in?
No, that's ours.
Yeah. So we've always had volunteers. Like Kate said, we volunteered ourselves, and
so we've got there's some amazing projects right across Leeds, as you probably know, who do great things for volunteers. So I can only really talk about how we choose to do it, but it's really important for us that people don't come and are not just there for free labour. That's not what volunteering's about. And I think there's a lot of opinion. A lot of people think that's what it is, particularly when there was a phase where people were being forced into volunteering to the job centre and stuff, and it put people off. You've got to come of your own volition and really want to do it.
Yeah, of course.
So we keep volunteer numbers low because we want to make sure everybody's getting the support they need. So and there's such an eclectic group of people we work with. So we work with people leaving prison, people who are still in, they might come out on a ROTL programme. We work with young adults with learning disabilities, people with severe mental health. Anybody who really needs a leg up, who've lost their way a bit or just struggling to get themselves back into whatever concept society is and just find their way. It can start from something as simple as building confidence. And I think the one thing we've learned, confidence is the biggest thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And life skills, it can be making a cup of tea for the team. Something like that can just make someone feel really good. And from there think, oh, well, I did that today.
Yeah.
Maybe tomorrow I'll do that. We don't have a set programme. We don't have forms to fill in. We don't have anything that might scare people away.
Yeah.
We have really tangible, real things that people can get their heads around and start building themselves back up.
That's absolutely brilliant.
And it works.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, it does work. And I think at the minute, I mean, historically, our staff team has pretty much always been made up of people who've currently previously volunteered at Seagulls, and you know, at times we've had to advertise for jobs, but that's very rare. And I think actually at the minute our staff team of 13, 14 is everyone there has volunteered for Seagulls before.
So you can see a good point to volunteering. People can see, oh, there is something that comes out of it. I get a great reference, if nothing else.
Yeah.
You know, I get support. The support doesn't stop when people leave if they need it.
No.
You know, there's someone who left us, 10 years ago, and he's still coming down for help as and when.
That's lovely because it's like you've built your own little community, really.
Well, it is. It is like a family. You know, we cook every day. So it's always a hot meal for everyone every day.
Which started because the building's so blooming cold. But, you know, and people are covered in paint, so you can hardly sort of expect people to go to the sarnie shop at lunchtime. So we started cooking for the cold and the fact that people are covered in paint, and it's just progressed from there, really, hasn't it? But
that's a great thing because sharing a meal with you know, your volunteer force or your workforce. That's another thing that makes people feel like they're part of a family, doesn't it?
Definitely. And encouraging people to cook and encouraging people to wash up. And I don't know, most people seem to think there's some magic fairy that washes up after they've eaten. And it's like, no, come on, it's your turn. And it's simple things like that people are learning to take responsibility for themselves.
And it's stuff that we all take for granted because we've perhaps been, you know, we've had parents who've kicked us up the backside and told us we've got to do it. And I'm not saying they don't, but it's just, you know, it's easy to take stuff for granted. And they all really appreciate being cooked for, don't they? And it's great that half of them came in and wouldn't even eat vegetable before they came to us. Now,
Wow.
Yeah.
Now they're all
Eating them.
they're
Yeah.
eating them.
You made everybody healthy.
Well, I don't know about that.
Trying.
But you know, they've expanded what they will eat and what they will do, and they've all started cooking, which is great.
Yeah, that is fantastic.
Yeah.
And so you were telling me earlier about, because down at Seagull's Paint you have a room that you set up and you invite people to come and decorate so you can show off what wonderful things you can do with your paints. And you were telling me that you've took that a step further.
Yeah, so we've had, in our office a couple of years ago, we decided that, well, Kate and I we've always liked nice prints and plants, and, you know, we like stuff, but not in a consuming.
We're real skip rats.
Yeah, skip rats. But
we love getting stuff out and making it
It's
better.
my favourite thing.
Yeah.
I know some people can be sort of quite snobby about it,
Oh,
but
no.
Yeah,
I got my that white unit for free on Seagull.
Yeah, brilliant.
I just there's nothing better. It makes things sort of have more value.
Oh,
definitely,
without question.
definitely, yeah. And we really wanted to show people sort of what colour can do and bring to different objects and plants, and, you know, how they can make their house a home, really. So we started with just
it doesn't have to cost a lot.
No. We started with a small corner in our office, and we used to bring in stuff from our homes to style a room, and it's worked, and we really enjoy that. And I think people really like seeing that sort of visual representation of paint, and it helps people sort of go, oh, I saw that blue you put out there a couple of weeks ago, I'd like that, please. And it helps us sell paint, essentially.
Yeah, I can imagine it does, because your posts are always really popular.
Yeah.
And like you say, there is something really lovely to be able to show people this is what you could do.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
this is the potential of just put a little bit of colour into it.
Yeah, because you'd be surprised how many people come into the paint store and you say, so what are you after? And they're just like, paint. And you're like, okay, have you any idea on a colour?
Yeah, what colour's your sofa? Or...
Yeah, so it's quite, you think people would come to a paint store knowing what they wanted, but a lot of people really don't. So.
No, and it can be quite daunting, I suppose, because you've got all that choice and you're making a big decision that's going to impact on your home.
Yeah, definitely.
But the beauty as well, because the paint's so reasonably priced, that people can change their minds if they want to.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with the paint. You can imagine we bring in over 100 tonnes a year just from the waste sites in Leeds, and you know, you'll get a lot of shitty colours, you know, a lot of murky, nasty colours, and we've had to learn how to blend and make colour, because otherwise we're not going to get it back out of the door.
No.
So the guys in there and girls are amazing
Yeah.
at making colour and matching colour, and people love to come and watch it being made. It's a bit like cake making.
Yeah,
It is,
really.
yeah. Yeah, because even in your style, I love the way it's laid out. I think it's absolutely beautiful, and I love just the paint spatteredness everywhere. It just looks amazing.
Yeah, I don't think either of us own any clothes that don't have paint on them.
I bet not.
I did have to take a lady's coat off her last week and sponge it down. She'd got paint all over it. Oh dear.
I suppose it's a hazard of you know, being in a
Just
place full of paint.
Just walking in the building, Don't come in your nice clothes.
No.
Anything you care about, leave out the building.
Yeah, definitely.
And so you set up these pods.
Yeah. So we've the one thing we've learnt from We Grow People is that it's life skills, it's basic things, and in the past funders have always wanted boxes ticked and this progression and that progression, but I think they're changing their views on that now.
Yeah,
it's a little easier. Well, it's hard to find funding, but it's a little easier to find funding that will accept that. So we wanted to take that one step further. We have a young adult who comes from Swarthmore. He has a mild learning disability and he loves to cook, so he comes every Thursday and cooks the most fantastic food. And we've got him his own cookbook, and he's planning his meals and he's multiplying it all, so he's doing his maths and everything else, and it's great. So we wanted to do more of that. Yeah,
we did, and and the Lifehouse idea was something we came up with a good 10-15 years ago, because we used to have a decorating service. Unfortunately, we couldn't make it work sort of on a financial basis. But from that, we did sort of coin this idea of something called assisted decorating.
I've talked about that.
Have we talked about that?
Oh, did it?
No, I think we talked about
Oh,
that before
sorry.
we started recording.
Sorry. I'll be quiet.
That's fine.
So the assisted decorating used to be we'd go into somebody's house and spend half a day or a day and help them actually put the paint on the walls. So, you know, we were passing on some skills so they could continue with the rest of the house instead of the paint just sat in tubs forever and a day. And we had this idea at one point that we were going to actually get a house, and we almost did, get a house that people could do slowly up, and then we could rent it out to people. It didn't quite come off like that, but we took a punt on some more space in the yard where we are at the moment a year or so ago, and have built now these sort of mock-up rooms that we're calling pods, that we're engaging with care leavers and ex-offenders to come and learn how to decorate. And to complement that, we've got a workshop that's going to be doing jewellery making, upcycling workshops, screen printing.
Excellent.
Yeah, all sorts of
And the
different
idea is
things.
that if people, we're going to keep them as affordable as possible, but those who come in and pay for the workshops, they're not just having a nice experience of making something and learning a skill. The money that they pay to do that will enable us to be able to give free places to the guys who don't have it. And I mean, that's the basic premise of social enterprise, really.
Yeah, of course.
But we're hoping that they'll want to come and buy into us because they'll know their money's going somewhere really good. It's not going in someone's pockets, it's going back into the community.
Yeah, it's great. It's all very circular. I love it. I love that idea.
So it's really scary. Obviously, we've taken this big thing on. We're skint, as every social enterprise will probably say. So we're hoping people will come and engage and use it and, really buy into what we're trying to do.
I think it's a fabulous idea, yeah. Absolutely brilliant. Because I see that I know you do your Mosaic courses. They look amazing. I love the one that you've got up in Kirkgate Market.
Oh, the market.
Yeah, love
so
the rainbow.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
it looks
it's ace,
fantastic.
isn't it? Yeah, we love
and
that.
so those have gone really well.
Yes. Yeah, so we're hoping the other workshops will go as well. You're the main Mosaic person, aren't you? So
kind of.
Yeah. So people, Mosaic is something anyone can do as well.
That's the brilliant. Anyone who goes, I can't do art, I'm not creative. Well, anyone can stick a tile.
Yeah.
And, so it's kind of sort of breaking down those boundaries and those worries that people have. And, actually, just because you think or you were told you weren't good at art, everyone has got a creative bone in their body, and we can all explore that somehow. And
all the feedback we get is always, I didn't think I liked doing things like this. I didn't think I liked art. It's cheesy, but the whole thing with Mosaic is making something beautiful out of something broken, which is a bit like people in a sense.
Yeah,
isn't
Of course
it?
it is.
Yeah.
And again, that reusing thing.
Yeah.
And you've got all the different textures and different styles and stuff.
Yeah.
And again, I think there's something about when you become an adult, you sort of forget to play, and you don't really have permission to play.
Yeah.
And I do line-up printing, and I'm absolutely rubbish at it, but I really enjoy it. And it actually doesn't have to be about an end product being amazing.
No.
There's something about the process and using your hands and just giving yourself permission just to be rubbish if you need to be rubbish.
And it's that whole social media thing of, Instagram in particular, although it's a great tool for us to promote what we do, of everything looks perfect, but it really isn't perfect. And it doesn't have to be perfect.
No, I really like those things where you see where people have done stuff on Pinterest and it's like a beautiful, frozen
mood
cake.
board or whatever,
and then they show you what someone's done in real life. You see them against each other.
Yeah.
But I still think that somebody's given it a go.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, we've got a few people who come down, they've got quite severe mental health problems, and they just self-run themselves, and they come once a week, or Mally's in every day really, and they create the most incredible mosaics. And I know Mally wouldn't mind us telling his story, but he has very severe mental health, and due to his condition, he would go to the shops in the morning, come home, and then he won't leave the house because he's worried. He has schizophrenia, and he's worried that he might do something, and he doesn't want to. He wants to, the voices tell him to do things he doesn't want to do. So he started coming to Seagulls, and he is the most talented artist you could wish to meet.
It's amazing.
And had he not known that he had that in him previously?
Oh, no, I wouldn't have thought he would have known. No, definitely not.
He's amazing. He's been with us for about 10 years now. He's been coming down. And these are his words. He says it's just a lifesaver for him. He's got somewhere to go, somewhere he's accepted. He's a lovely, lovely guy, and
and he found something in him by coming to do
he's got immense
courses
talent.
and
he's so talented, isn't he?
He spends a lot of time filing tiles, and the level of detail is incredible.
And I suppose it's something to concentrate his mind as well.
He says it takes his mind off the voices.
And it's somewhere for him to come and be. Like I say, he feels part of the team now. He helps us on quite a lot of the bigger projects, doesn't he?
So he does a lot of the fiddly stuff on the markets, and the big rows in the market that you see, the middle emblem bit, that's Mally. So
wow, it's very intricate.
Anything tricky, we go straight to Mally, don't we?
We do. Yeah, and he likes to feel useful and be part of the team, which is brilliant.
Yeah,
so
of course.
It's a win-win situation.
Yeah. It is.
And Mosaic was set up by a volunteer as well, who, wanted to reuse tiles and is passionate about art in the community, and she's left a great legacy there for Seagulls and for people to continue doing that, so that's great. And I think that was, we still do, but very much in the earlier days, we always encouraged people, if they had an idea, to go for it, and if they could see it fitting in with Seagulls and we could have the time to help it work, then why not do it? And
That's great.
Yeah, that's why Mosaics happened. And
Yeah, I suppose, because you've left yourself so open and, about idea exchange and you're a safe space for people.
Yeah.
And they feel like they can come and tell you an idea and, not have to feel,
Yeah,
That's definitely,
brilliant.
yeah. And we haven't talked about the refill shop either.
No, I was going to mention that. When did you start with the refill shop?
It's last November.
Yeah,
Isn't it? Nearly a year ago now.
I mean, like my mum's always gone to the local shop where she lives and refilled her bottles, so I've always known people do that, and I think Kate's similar. And it just seems silly that we didn't have one in Seagulls, or that we couldn't incorporate that. And I think we got there at the right time, really, because they're springing up everywhere now, which is great. It's brilliant. The more you have, the better.
And it's about, at the moment, it does cost a little bit more to refill your bottle. Well, not refill your bottle, but
really.
buy some of the more, because we don't just have refills for detergents and everything else. We buy a lot of stuff from local makers. Nothing that's killed an orangutan. There's no palm oil or anything in it. It's all really nice stuff. And it's, again, we're all supporting independence, which is what we're all about.
Yeah.
But it's the more people that start using them, the cheaper it's going to get for everybody.
Yeah.
And it is a lifestyle choice, but it's not about hating plastic. It's about hating single-use plastic. We all know plastic is bad and it's a shame, but you still need plastic. You go in a hospital, there's plastic breathing tubes. They're needed, but we need to stop the waste, and we need to stop just the crap that we're chucking away.
I think starting last November, you were exactly on the zeitgeist really, weren't you? Because it's just become so huge, and it's become, with the Greta Thunberg and Extinction Rebellion, it's in the public's consciousness. So even if you're not 100% behind these things, you're hearing the conversation and it's out there, and I think that's really useful.
And it's that message, I think, as well, that it isn't me saying this is somebody else, but I thought it was perfect. Everybody can do a little bit. Everyone gets overwhelmed. Well, I can't just give it all up. I don't know what I'll do.
Yeah.
But you could do 3 things.
Yeah.
And if everybody did 3 things, then that's brilliant.
Yeah, exactly.
Can't do it all, and that's what we try and encourage people to do.
And so the refill shop, that's going really well.
Yeah,
slowly.
It's at the back of the shop, so we've got to get more into the habit of letting people know it's there. We were just talking about that this morning, weren't we?
Yeah.
But people walk in there and they're like, whoa, because it smells nice for a start.
Yeah.
You walk in there, like, what's this wonderful smell? Everything else.
That's a way to draw people in,
yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah. We were just saying we need to pump the smell out into the shops and encourage people to go to the
fresh
back.
bread.
Yeah,
definitely.
And it's stuff like, again, it's an education thing. All our lads, I mean, there's Andy, for example, who's got 6'4" big burly guy, and we sell sanitary products. We sell we sell menstrual cups, and they've really taken it on board to learn about them. They've got a competition who can sell the most, and it's not even in a jokey way.
No.
They're deadly serious about menstrual cups, and for some ladies who go in, it can be quite off-putting. You've got this big rocker going, "Have you tried a menstrual cup, love?" But some will scuttle off. But I think Andy's on 14, isn't he? Rob's catching him up.
Rob's on 11.
Yeah, so it's great again that you've got young guys who aren't afraid to talk about about menstrual products and want to sell them and want to encourage people to use them, and it's just I think it's great.
That's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, and it's funny because they are funny.
Yeah.
So, have you got any plans for the future? I'm sure you will have, because you sound like you're absolutely full of ideas.
The Lifehouse, obviously, that's going to take a lot of time and work to build, but we hope people engage with it. We've also got another space in the yard where it's like a big gallery. It's a massive sort of industrial. Yeah. It's gorgeous, and we hold markets and craft fairs there. The next one's 23rd, 24th of November. Oh. We get some really good local makers down, and a gin wagon, most importantly.
Wow.
She does hot gins at Christmas. It's great.
That's perfect.
Yeah. And then it's a space that's open for all sorts of things. Again, people pay to use it, but it also means if we can make the money on it, we can let people who don't have the money use it. It's had all sorts of weird things, hasn't it?
We had some guys testing out a laser show for Happy Mondays.
I saw your post about that.
Yeah.
It looked absolutely
amazing. It's amazing, and we're thinking of doing, so you can have however many temporary alcohol licences per year. So we're thinking, working out how many we've got left for this year, and putting it out there as a bit of a competition. Who wants to have a party in our space? And a bit of a different kind of. We don't want it to become a party space.
No.
We can't be asked, we're too old for that.
Yeah. But we would happily host a couple of parties to boost our income. Yeah.
Because I think that's nice, because then you're showing such a wide range of, you can use it for all these different things.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
And it's, you don't get many industrial spaces that haven't been modernised and beautified, and ours is really bare bones, and it's got it's got a lot of character, hasn't it?
It has, yeah. It's brilliant
You
space.
can make it into anything.
Oh, that's
So,
great.
Our finance person's had kittens about it for a while because
Yeah.
we took it on not knowing what to do with it. And
Definitely coming
he did. He said at the beginning of this year, well, you've had it for a year now and you've not done anything with it. So what are you going to do?
The one thing we're not good at is counting.
No.
We leave that. That's the key to what we do. I think be good at the things you're good at and understand the things you can't get someone else in to help you do them.
Yeah.
You know, we know if we were left to do the finances, we wouldn't be here.
No, we definitely wouldn't. No,
We're not sensible enough. Because I think that's the thing about Seagulls. It's fun as well. You know, it's really cold in the winter, but we never lose a staff member. Really, no one leaves.
No, that's a great
and I think
accolade, isn't
that's
it?
nice. Well, it's an accolade to the whole team. It's to all of
Yeah.
us. It's not just me and Kat. It's everybody that makes it what it is. But yeah, keeping people together is
key.
It's key.
That's great.
And being nice to each other. It's key.
Yeah. So that's all we can hope for in the world, isn't it?
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
Little bit.
It's not all happy clapping.
And
We
I
have our
think-
moments.
No, yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
But it's really great, like people like Greta, David Attenborough are putting sort of the environment back on that platform, the public platform, because it's kind of where we started nearly 20 years ago. It was something that we were really worried and concerned about, and we're busy trying to make our little bit of difference now. But it seems to have been lost for the last 15 years, and it's great that it's sort of...
Well, you can get so overwhelmed with everything that's happening in the world, can't you? Especially right now.
It's like you have to.
Yeah.
It's
You
kind of
just
like you
gotta
have to weigh
focus
up
on-
what you're going to worry about, isn't
yeah,
it? Because you could drive yourself crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, or just do your bit where you are and keep doing that. That's all we can do. We're trying. Everybody's trying the best to do their bit, and you can't let it overwhelm you because otherwise you end up doing nothing.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think it's nice to be able to encourage people to do their own little bit.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
So we always ask our guests
We've been
to tell
racking our
us
brains.
something that you absolutely love about Leeds. You don't have to have the same answer, obviously.
No, there's
You're allowed to.
loads of things I love about Leeds. I think, as someone who comes from the countryside, I love that I can get to a green space really, really easily because I'm not a city girl and I do like I need to be near my trees and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
So the fact that when I first moved here, it was really overwhelming for me because not that I hadn't lived in cities before, but I knew they weren't really for me because I do like to be nature. I like to be out in nature. So being able to get to a green space really, really easily matters a lot to me.
And that is
Especially
a great.
someone who doesn't drive or have a car, I can get there. That's really important.
Yeah, and there's a lot of green space. You don't have to go very far in Leeds, do you? Before
No.
you're going from somewhere really urban to somewhere just beautiful and green.
Yeah, and that's great about this city, I think.
Oh, you've thought about that, Kate.
I hadn't, actually. I honestly hadn't.
Oh. I think
It just came to me.
I think for me, the thing that I love about Leeds, and I suppose my life in Leeds, is the community.
Yes, see, that's a good one.
I live in Armley, which has got quite a fractured community, doesn't always got the best reputation. But I think, for me, I love Armley because those of us who want to be proactive are proactive, and we've come together, and there is a great community in Armley now, thanks to sort of people who are proactive. And I think that's really important, that people do want to come together and do want to sort of take some action and
give back.
And I think for me it is about community. I'm not from Leeds, I'm from Bristol, and Leeds is my home. I've been here 20 odd years, and for me the thing that keeps me as much as Seagulls is community.
Yeah.
And that's how I felt about Burley when I first moved to Burley. There were so many new community groups starting up, and again it was really fractured. It's become very studentised now, but there was still a really strong community underneath all of that.
Yeah.
And people helping each other out. And,
definitely.
And, wheeling things of cement around in trolleys and doing all sorts of silly things, and it's that matters. And I think with all that's going on, and I know we don't want to get political, but sense of community is getting lost, and we've got to fight to keep that. Cause that's the only way we fight back against what's happening.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think in Leeds you can find enough people who are passionate about the communities they live in, who are who want to have that fight to make sure that we're kept together. And
100%. I mean, we're really lucky in South Leeds and Beeston. There's a great community spirit, and there are people who are constantly organising things, and it's kind of like that. It's like the power's within the people rather than waiting for outside agencies to do
people
things
have got to
for
take
you.
the power back. They've got to take it back.
Yeah. And I think that's really important.
definitely.
And then it feels like you actually get in your communities things that you actually want, because it's not other groups telling you, oh, we think this is what you need.
Yeah,
definitely.
And there's something really important about that.
Yeah,
and it inspires pride then in your community.
I think so.
And I think there's enough people in Leeds who are prepared to stand up and fight for their communities and not just let shit happen.
But it's what you're saying, just in pride, in the sense of we've done some mosaics in some of the subways
Under the York
Road, and because the whole community's been involved and they've all played a part, have gone to all the schools and older people's groups and all the groups that we could possibly get into, and they've made this really horrible, nasty subway that people didn't want to walk through look nice. We go and check on them once a year. I'm not saying sometimes they don't get damaged and we have to do bits and bobs, but as a whole, they stay as they are, because people say, oh, this is great, and now I feel like I can walk through here, or it makes me smile when I see that mosaic.
It gives you a bit of ownership.
And I know that it's really quite simple, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I was talking to there's a great guy, but he's been a guest in the past, Ed Carlisle, and he does so much stuff in the community, and we've been talking about it, we haven't got around to actually doing anything yet, but we're thinking of trying to organise to get the ends of the gables done as murals, which we think would look absolutely fantastic. And also I'd really like to ask the people in the streets and get an artist to represent that,
what they want,
but ask them about like how they feel about living in Leeds, and and have it to represent everybody. I think that'd be a really great idea. And
we'll
I think
do a mosaic.
If
you get that going, let us know. We'll come and.
Oh, fantastic! Definitely will. Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, I think it'd be really lovely, because I'd like people to be able to take ownership and think, we did this. Oh, there's that bit that I thought about.
Definitely.
That's the way to keep it. We found that, haven't we?
Yeah, we did one in Armley this time last year. It says Love Armley. It's on a massive gable end on Town Street. It's not been touched by graffiti or anything, and we've went to every school, like Kate's saying, and it looks brilliant now, and it's a beacon of loveliness in what is a quite grey, drab, dreary place.
Murals have always been a thing, haven't they? But there's, from what I look at on Insta and all over, there's a real movement of murals. Councils and they would say, oh, you can't paint that wall. We got to keep it white or grey or pristine. But they're much more open, I think, to having colour in cities now. It's a little bit easier. It's hard to get the funding, but it's a little bit easier to get permission to put stuff. On walls.
And I just think it brightens everything up and just makes everyone feel cheerful and proud. And,
especially in the winter. You need it, don't you?
You need a splash of colour.
Yeah, without question.
So can I ask you something that you think is not so great about Leeds?
Ooh.
Not enough provision of activities for young people. I think on the whole, compared to a lot of councils, we've got a great council. I'm not saying they're perfect, no one is, but I think we've got a pretty decent council as cities go, who do their best with budgets being cut and everything. But activities for young people, I think, is key. Boredom. Young people, there's just not enough activities and things for them to do.
No, I mean, there's that Brilliant Breeze campaign, which I think is fantastic, that they do during the summer. That's the council run, I think, and that's great. They take them to different parks, don't they? And that's fantastic. But I think what's missing compared to when I was younger, we would have a youth club, and there was like a roller disco, and then it was great because my parents weren't particularly well off. My mum would be working during the summer, and we'd all go to a great council organised scheme.
When I was a kid.
You'd get taken out on summer holidays, and they would be using volunteers, to come and look after the children. So they're benefiting and training and things as well. And I just think that's a great. And you get this lot of negativity about young people. Oh, they're always on the streets. They're always doing this. They're always doing that. But if you're not providing people with anything, what do you expect people to do?
Yeah. And I suppose there's one more thing I do really hate. Is the amount, and it's not me. I'm not against students at all. They bring a lot of good things and money to the city. It's just they all suddenly. I went back into Hyde Park yesterday, and never used to be cars. They've all got. Why are they all allowed to bring their cars? That's my victim altruism. They don't need them. There's transport links. They don't need the cars, and it's just causing chaos. I can understand they want to, but what do they need them for?
Yeah, I suppose it's because I don't know. Perhaps people who are going to university are more well off, so they've got cars. Because when I was a student, I wouldn't have had no chance of having a car.
No. Again, it's not against students at all. No. It's just don't bring your bloody cars.
Yeah, it's the last thing we need in Leeds.
Yeah, don't need more. What about you? What is it you don't like about Leeds?
I suppose if we're talking about cars, and so I'm just thinking about where I live, it's people who drive too fast and recklessly, and don't have no consideration for other people on the roads. I think that's it's pretty bad, really. Especially
that's probably countrywide as well, though.
I'm sure it is countrywide. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it's countrywide. Yeah, I mean, I learnt to drive older, and but I didn't drive for very long, and I don't drive now because one of the things that I can't bear is like you're saying to me, you can be the best driver in the world.
Yeah, this is what we always say.
Yeah.
But you're constantly dealing with people who are dangerous and don't seem to pay any attention,
That's
and that
the
really
reason
worries
I've never
me.
driven.
Yeah.
I'm just too much of a scaredy cat.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I could go in the middle of the night when I knew there was no other cars there. I'd be absolutely fine. But any other time, no, I'd cause accidents with my fear. Definitely. I'm bad enough as a passenger, let alone a driver. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a tough one.
Yeah, and I think as well, like Leeds is a massive city and there's a lot of people in it, and like the students like we've been talking about, and I think people need to sort of recognise that there are a wealth of independent shops and social enterprises out there that actually, if we all went and shopped in them for what we could, a bit more, then it'd bring a lot more stability to organisations like Seagulls. I'm thinking my local fruit and veg shop. You know, if people actually went and bought homegrown produce and did that more regularly rather than going to the supermarket, I think we all need to sort of take a little bit more time and go and shop in places that, you know, give something back to the community or the environment. And
I mean, you've got that big pocket of, you know, Kirkgate Market, but I mean, one of the worries about that is they're constantly under threat. You know, from this, like, I don't see the point in going to a city and visiting the same shops that you can visit in any city.
Same. Yeah, they're all the same. Yeah, I agree.
And I think that my son's at university, was at university in Liverpool, he lives there now, and I absolutely love Leeds. But when I go to Liverpool, I'm always blown away by the amount of independent bars, restaurants, shops, you know, little quirky
and
places.
I think Leeds has got a lot better for them. Yeah. But I think it could do. I just think that they all need more support, and people need to be shopping in them, drinking in them, using them more, and like recognising the wealth of people that we do have, and using them so that they don't disappear.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
And again, choosing where your money goes as well.
Yeah, it doesn't take much of a lifestyle.
It doesn't,
change,
and I know people are busy and they've got kids and jobs, and there's never enough time in the day. But where you can, it should happen.
And also, I think again, it makes you feel like you're contributing your own little piece of action to everything.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so. I think
it's a small way to contribute, isn't it?
Yeah. But all the little things add up to one big thing, and I think that's what people think. Well, I haven't got time. I can't. It's too much. It's the same with plastic, like I was saying before. They all add up to make a big thing. Yeah. And I think that's what we all forget.
And I think we all do have probably more time than we think if we think about the amount of time we might spend on social media, for example. Like, you know, if we just put the phone down for an hour and actually went to a local little shop or whatever, actually we've all got more time than we think. But we're all told that we don't have any time and that, you know, we can't do this and we can't do that. And actually we can. We just need to change our lifestyles a bit.
Yeah, and change the way you think about things a little bit.
I don't want to sound preachy about it, you know, because sometimes I find it hard. I'm not saying there isn't any single-use plastic in my house, because there is. You know, but I just do what I can.
But even just changing a little bit, and even just being aware of it and trying that little bit harder and occasionally making a different choice. Like you say, all adds up, doesn't it?
It can be one change. That's it.
Yeah.
That's what I think anyway.
And we always ask our guests, even if you knew somebody who'd been a resident of Leeds for a long time, can you tell me about something that you think is a hidden gem that people might not know about?
One that I had was Rodley Nature Reserve.
Oh, that's a nice one. I don't think I've been there.
Yeah, it's in Rodley, funnily enough. But I think it's run entirely by volunteers, and, you know, it's a big nature reserve. You know, loads of different birds, some like lakes and like pond dipping.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah, just a bit of greenery.
Yeah, and a nice place just to get, like you were saying again, you're in the middle of the city and then you've got your little pockets.
And I guess that feeds into the canal, really. I think what's great about Leeds is the canals.
I love the canal,
and, you know, I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, I love the canals.
Yeah.
And it's so nice, isn't it? Because like in sort of the 80s, it was all like, you know...
Yeah, don't go down them.
Yeah, and having shopping trolleys found in them and stuff like that. And I think it's great as well that, you know, a lot of that, I think all the canals and waterways are now completely self-funded, aren't they? They're not government funded anymore. And again, that's another thing with community action, people getting together and wanting to make these spaces beautiful again. And they've definitely succeeded in Leeds. I mean, you can go on some amazing walks.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there's always somewhere to go. No matter where you are almost in the city, you can get to a canal quite easily.
You never have to walk that far before you can get onto one. Yeah, good one.
Yeah, I'm stumped. You've got me there.
Sorry.
Because I was thinking about bars and places like that, but they're all so well known now. I mean, 20 years ago, I could have given you a lot of different answers. And I'm an old fart. I don't get out much anymore.
Well, things change such a lot anyway, I think, with stuff like that.
Yeah. I'm really trying to think, but I can't think of anything that's tucked away. It's like with the advent of social media, isn't it? Hidden gems get lost. There's a place in Wales I love to go to. It's my most favourite place in the world. There used to be a place you can visit called the Blue Lake up in the mountains. It's privately owned, but the farmer was quite happy for you to go up there. It was advertised on Insta as one of the 20 hidden gems of England, and that's fine, but people started flocking to it. But the problem was they started leaving all the crap there, loads and loads of rubbish. So he got fined by the council for the rubbish, so he's put a boulder across it and stopped people going.
That's so sad.
Kind of hidden gems sometimes need to remain
maybe
hidden gems because they can get spoiled.
To yourself, don't tell anyone.
Now I've been going there since I was a child, and I'm never going to be able to go there
That's
again.
such a shame.
And I understand why he's done it. So digressed a little bit there, but
but that does happen, doesn't it? You get places where they've got like amazing poppies in cornfields and stuff, and then before you know it, everyone's turning up and that's a shame.
And it's just it doesn't matter that lots of people go as long as they respect it. But
of course.
I don't know why you'd want to leave nappies and shit up a lake, but it happens.
Really. Well, thank you so much for coming along and talking to us.
Sit here and chat all day.
We'll put links in the podcast notes to everything that you're doing and where people can find you and stuff like that. So thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What's happening in this great city? Light on Leeds, we'll tell you. But wait a minute. Light on Leeds.
Kat and Kate from Seagull's Paints there. They're fine examples of the amazing things happening in Leeds and the fantastic people making them happen. Music this episode is Test the World by HiFi Richard, aka our multi-talented engineer Will Gurrey and his brother Owen Gurrey. It's an uplifting tune befitting this podcast. Catch you on the flip side, Leeds.
Did you hear about the rich man heading off into the sky? To launch himself above the world and leave the rest of us behind. So many people know your name, but you don't know who you are. But think that you can blaze a trail, that it's gonna be a work of art. You gotta test the world, you gotta look around, and just like she does, she hears the sounds. I know we're here, we could be anywhere, and you be my guide, a little wild one. It's the countdown to ignition as the crowds all gather round. We've got all the space we need, keeping both feet on the ground.